hard to pronounce words that I'm not going to go into, but the description is that you could solidify pure mercury, which is always liquid at room temperature, in ancient Indian alchemy, science, and faith that will energize any space. Still doesn't change that mercury, if it's pure or not, is a poison, period, full stop. The claim that this product we put out is not poisonous, and then making sure there's a break in your paragraph and saying it's pure mercury. Every belief system on this planet, every belief system, at least is claimed from the outside, and in most cases really is, buttressed by someone making a claim, if they're a true believer, that is absolutely bullshit. Saying something untrue as a mark of faith is literally one of the points at which even the legal system in the United States qualifies something as being a religious belief, because you're willing to say something you're really conscious is a lie. Jesus did not walk on water. He didn't part the seas. The world wasn't entirely flooded. Saying it was, yelling it loudly, along with many other battle cries, are a sign that you're part of a group, not a sign that you're rational about a subject matter. Begrudgingly, a person will claim that this is an amalgam alloy of 70% mercury or some other variation, and the rest being pure silver or sometimes sulfur. Also claiming mercury is the only metal in the universe that's a liquid state at room temperature, or just at a liquid state, which doesn't have a reference point. Of course, this ignores lithium and gallium that are... There are compounds of these that are liquid, but gallium is liquid at room temperature if you're in a hot environment. There's no secret process enunciated by Tamil Siddhas, because by mass, most of the items that you buy, even off of eBay and even off of Amazon, are 20% mercury, 10 to 55% lead, 3% arsenic, and the rest of it being other. It can be a large variation, 25% all the way down to, all the way up to, cripes, 40%, other materials. It's not a magic trick which makes pure mercury into a solid. And not in the same breath, but another person will say, it's 100% non-toxic. That's because it's not mercury. If it has any mercury in it, it has toxicity problems. And again, most of the stuff you buy, if you buy it, if it looks at all like what you're told it is, will be lead and mercury and arsenic. You should just throw cyanide in there and be done with it, I guess. In fact, that was one of them that was listed. But anyway, potassium amalgams, potassium-mercury mixtures, are very sensitive to air and water. The ones that have a melting point at 178 degrees Celsius will also turn gold-colored if they're exposed to air and or water, depending on the conditions. The ones that turn silver color would have a melting point at 278 degrees Celsius. And one of the tests people bring up, is this a pure, hoogie-boogie item? Yeah. It turns gold when you put it in water for an hour. Yeah, because it's probably a potassium amalgam. What about sulfur? Well, mercury 2 sulfide, vermilion, melts at 580 degrees Celsius or 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Mercury sulfide 1, or mercurous sulfide, hypothetical chemical compound, can't exist, but it's unstable at room temperature, decomposing into mercuric sulfide and cinnabar metallic mercury 2. That's cinnabar stuff. They're all bright red, usually crystalline, kind of pretty looking. Some of it just looks like red brick, but a lot of it looks crystalline. But it melts at a much higher temperature. But let's talk about pure silver. Melts at 900 degrees Celsius. It melts at a pretty serious temperature. Well, that's used for dental fillings, along with tin and zinc and other elements. But it can be made just from both of them, and they'll have a point at which a certain mixture will form a full solid. There's also a mix where it will still be mostly liquid. It's liquid in the reaction it has when it's being mushed. Usually that's done by mixing it with zinc and other materials. And it's a very nasty material. So what's the scientific testing that's done? Again, as I said, there isn't any secret process. Most of the items you buy that claim to be, quote-unquote, solidified room temperature mercury are 20% mercury, and the rest of it's lead and arsenic. It's a lead amalgam. Looking up lead amalgams is very difficult because people don't want to explain it to you. It's, some of them are also explosives, but let's move on. Well, at least components in making an explosive. So when you look it up, you're not going to get straight answers. Metallurgical books from the 1920s in an old library or an old bookshop might give you a straight answer on the density and melting points. So let's talk about mercury. It's 13.5 grams per cubic centimeter. And no, it's not the heaviest element either. Someone will say, there's nothing heavier than this or more dense. Yes, there is, tungsten. The ignorance level of ancient scientists that were supposed to know how to turn lead into gold is pretty amazing. These items that people claim are solidified mercury have around 6 grams per cubic centimeter. So it's not mercury, unless it's in some form of open lattice to take up more space. You know what? At 6 grams per cubic centimeter, that's very close to the 5.9 grams per cubic centimeter of gallium. Gallium melts at 85 degrees Fahrenheit, or almost 30 degrees Celsius. Now, you can make an amalgam of gallium. However, finding gallium amalgams listed anywhere is almost impossible, because they're treated as trade secrets. People don't talk about it because they use it to make casting materials. And because it's put behind the secrecy of industrial processing, you're not going to find out. So here's your test if you have one of these lingams, lingam. It's a sex idol. I want to say it some other way, but it's not pure silver and mercury. It's not the amalgam because it's too hard. There's a joke there somewhere. It also will melt with human tissue touch, and they usually tell you to keep it in a cool room and watch out during summertime. So it's probably just gallium mixed with some other element, or maybe nothing at all. But again, the ones that are shipped in and out get the special exemption on not caring if it has mercury in it, and have lead and mercury melted together, which is kind of fucked up. Unless mercury is brought up to an extremely high pressure level, or some other thing is done with it, it doesn't form a solid. And no, red mercury doesn't exist, nor does the other UFO bullshit either. Those are lies as well. Did you know that India is the 5th largest exporter of bauxite, and gallium is extracted from bauxite as a waste material? A lot of you might know that gallium is used as a heat transfer paste for computer chips these days because it has some abilities that are quite useful. Gallium also eats away at other things. And when you talk about these idols in people's houses where they put water over it and pour it into a cup or whatever, they often talk about how it'll wet a surface like gold or silver. Yeah, that's what mercury does normally. But gallium can do the same thing. Gallium is often used as a substitute for certain products because of this. You can also mix a gallium mix that only freezes at like -2 degrees Fahrenheit or something crazy like that, so it can be used in thermometers. The fake mercury in thermometers, based on that gallium mix, can be mixed with another thing and become very much a solid at room temperature. This idol that's supposed to be a perfect example of our faith and our we're smarter than everybody because we can solidify a liquid mercury and make it completely non-toxic, has the same density as gallium and may have the same temperature range. Or not. Since it's slightly more dense, that implies that it's a gallium amalgam or alloy and has nothing to do with mercury if it's safe. And no, there should be no exemption for it. For faith reasons, it's okay if you snort cyanide or something. No, religious exemptions are dumb. Religious exemptions have got us in trouble in the United States. Well, I have a religious exemption. I don't think you should anymore, because that just means that you're saying, I don't want to deal with reality. Again, virtually every faith-based anything has a rule that you have to say something that you subconsciously or consciously know is a lie, to prove you're part of the group. That Elvis never did own drugs. That's literally a joke, but it has nothing to do with Elvis. Look, if you are thinking of buying one of these, you can get one that doesn't contain any metals of any kind. There are glass ones, there's aluminum ones, there's even ones that openly just say it's made out of gallium and it comes with a mold so you can put it back into it. There's also ones that say very proudly, if you can find them, they're not on Amazon, I don't know why, that they're mercury-free, gallium-based ones that do exactly the same thing. In fact, they are the same thing for the safe ones. I find it very odd that this is treated as, oh, this is a treatment for medical reasons. It's pure mercury, but it's totally safe because we blessed it. And then the complaint I get is, no, they mixed it with sulfur and herbs and spices. Okay, not spices. No, it's lead and mercury amalgam. Or it's not mercury amalgam and it's gallium mixed with something else. If anybody has found out what is mixed with it, whistle blow it below in the comments, because then I'll put it into the description and I'll put it into the title, what it really is. But this is faith-based chemistry, and you should trust this with your safety. Meanwhile, these same people, I'm not kidding, complain about mercury in medical treatments, which aren't being used, by the way, and also complain about mercury in your teeth. But they're okay with saying, oh, solid mercury, that's safe, somehow. Even if it melts off on your skin, turns your fingers black. By the way, it turns your fingers black, it's probably just silver coming out of solution. I wonder if silver mixed with gallium would do the same thing. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. Yes, I'm dunking on this bullshit. And I'm dunking on the higher society of India that's normally very science-based, giving these people a pass. No, it's not purified. It's bullshit.